What's up, y'all? It's Peaches, your favorite nail tech, back with another video. Nails by Prettyface, you'll already know. So today we're focusing on application specifically in the cuticle area. I know a lot of people struggle with getting very close to the cuticles without blooding. You can see the space between the cuticle and the acrylic. Okay, we're gonna use a custom color I made, and before we get into it, y'all know the subscriber shout out goes to Roxanne Pie today. Subscribe since today at 8:48 p.m. Y'all already know. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and if you are subscribed, turn on the notifications and just turn on the notifications, period, so you don't miss anything. Okay, y'all already know, daily content, streams, live streams, what else, uploads, shorts, everything. Okay, so here we go, let's get into it. So honestly, when it comes to doing cuticle application, okay, the thing about it is you gotta have your liquid to powder ratios correct. So if you're struggling with liquid to powder ratios, I suggest that after watching this video, go ahead and watch that video. I'll link it somewhere in the cards. In this video will be my detailed video into liquid to powder ratios. Okay, so first things first, laying down my first bead. This is just like a typical medium length, not too short, not really that long either. And we're gonna lay our first bead like normal. Okay, now this second bead is going to be where we're getting into the cuticle application. So I kind of let it set for a second, keep it in place, and when I feel like it's gonna stay in place, I just take my brush and I go ahead and just give it like a little slight push upwards, and you see how it spreads. So that is the reason why you do not lay your cuticle beads right on the skin or as close as possible to the skin, because when acrylic is in the process of polymerizing and setting, it kind of expands and it kind of spreads before it hardens. So that being said, you have to make sure that you have a safe distance so that once you put your bead on, you have the time to kind of guide it where you need. You need to give it a little push from the from the edge of the bead, and then it's going to kind of push itself where it needs to go, and it's going to stop before it floods too much, as long as your beads are not too wet. Okay, so you can see I'm cleaning up around the cuticle area. You only need the very tip of your brush. I personally like to have my brushes pressed and pinched. So basically what that means is that you can see how the tip of my brush is like flattened out. I like a more square shape to my brush. That's how you go ahead and do that. If you are a professional nail tech with a license, just go into your local nail supply store. When you buy a brush, they'll do it for you. Okay, so typically I like to go ahead with the second bead just for strength and just to make sure there are no inconsistencies. You see how I'm just kind of like patting at it, and any extra I go ahead and swipe down, not to waste product. You see how it's not coming off my brush, I'm swiping it back down onto the nail, and that's going to provide some extra strength. And once again, I'm still going in and I am still making sure that everything is nice and neat. You see, now you see when I'm cleaning the brush how I'm using the very tip of my bristles, and you don't see a huge gap or anything like that. That's what you want to see, and this is how you go ahead and get that result. Okay, so I'm sorry, y'all got thirsty. Oh damn. Okay, so here we go again, second finger. Right now, second finger, once again, I like to lay my first bead always where the natural nail and the nail tip meet. I kind of feel like it just starts the process of building strength. If you lay it that far up, every other little bit of acrylic that goes on top of that is going to add layer and layer, and it's going to have extra strength. Okay, so see how I'm already swiping the sides and getting a little bit into that cuticle area. The cuticle area is not just that top part. It is the whole surrounding area in front of the skin, the eponychium, okay, because the cuticle is not actually the skin. It's really the stuff on the nail plate. Really, it's like the skin that's on the nail plate, but we just call it the cuticle area because that's where it grows off of. So you can see I got my bead, I'm draining it a little bit. I'm going to set it here so it can set. Look at me, let it set a couple seconds. See how it's expanding? Now I'm going to go ahead and give it a gentle push, you see, from the bottom of the bead. And you see how it falls into place, but I still have to guide it. And I still have to make sure, see, get the excess out before it goes anywhere. And the rest of the bead is setting up. You see how I'm not just immediately swiping it away. I'm kind of pulling it gently down and using it so it's multi-purpose for the whole entire nail. If you do not, go ahead and wipe around your, like this. If you don't wipe around the skin and really get in there and just make sure everything is in place, that will flood. And when you have flooding, that means that the acrylic has gotten onto the skin. It has gone out of these nail walls right here. Okay. It will have gone beyond the nail walls that I'm showing you guys, that I'm wiping right here. I don't want any little bit of acrylic outside of that nail wall. And the way that you can tell if it is flooding is you'll see it will look either really liquidy, or it'll just look like, man, that is really, really like right against the skin. And sometimes you won't catch it, or you feel like you do and you move on. And when you look back, the acrylic is still polymerizing, it's still hardening, and it will expand a little bit, just a little bit more without you realizing. And now you got acrylic on the skin that you got to get rid of later. It's not fun. So again, I'm going in with that second bead for the apex area. And now this one, I don't push up as far, but I am pushing up a little bit to make sure I have a proper apex. And you can see how I am kind of just swiping and patting the excess down, because just because you lay a bead down does not mean that it all needs to stay and harden in one place. Okay, because what we do not want is a lumpy bumpy humpity dumpity nail, as I always say. Okay, now see how I'm still going ahead and wiping around any areas. I'm making sure that nothing has a chance to seep out while I'm not looking. Okay, now do you see how close that the acrylic is to the skin? That's exactly what you want. And although I spent time wiping and wiping, well, not really wiping, but you know, going around, you can't tell. That's how close it needs to be to the skin to have a really, really flush look. Okay. Oh, also just ignore any little like white you see on her nail. That we did a soak off, so that's just like a little bit of a previous acrylic. It's not really that big of a deal or anything like that. It's my work. There's nothing lifting or anything like that. So we just proceeded with the set since she just wants a basic color on top. So don't be thinking she got something going on, because she don't. It's fine. So again, you see how I'm already starting with cleaning up the start of the cuticle area. If you don't do this now and you go ahead and let this get out of control, like, I'll file it later, good luck. Okay, because when you go ahead and lay your cuticle beads, it's not going to line up right, and you're going to have some parts that are really thicker than necessary, and then the tip is going to be thin. So instead of having like a crisp square shape, now you got like a effed up coffin, which is why clients is out here and nail techs out here running around talking about, I want a skinny square and I want a tapered square. To be honest with you, if your squares look right, it's always going to come out like skinny. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you do your application right and you do your shaping right, nobody needs to tell you, hey, I want a tapered square. Or if you're a client, you won't have to tell somebody a tapered square. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just going to be right, basically. So here we go. The cuticle bead, dried it out slightly. And I guess I do use a little bit larger beads than people are probably used to. I have a size 16 brush. To me, this is a small bead. But, you know, to each their own, okay? Do what you're comfortable with. Now, do you see how I kind of set it down and it kind of expanded and spread? And see that little bit of flooding? Got to get rid of it. Do you see the difference that makes? See the difference that it makes? But do you see how close it got itself to the cuticle area? It's the cuticle area on the top part, not this sidewall part. But you have to get that, because that's where bulkiness comes from. If you don't get those sides right there in the cuticle area, right here and right there, that's bulkiness. Now at the top, on the most rounded part of the finger, at the top of the finger, right there, I'm almost touching it. Hold on. Now right there, that's for bulkiness. That's how you get rid of bulkiness. I'm talking about at top of the finger. Okay, I guess I almost touched it, but I didn't. At the top of the finger, that is where flooding is likely to occur as well. You need that very close to the skin. You know what I'm saying? So I think I might go in with another bead, or am I starting the next finger? I'm not really sure. Let me see. Okay, so next finger, we're doing the same thing. Okay. The best way to get good at having a nice flush cuticle area, keep practicing your application. Keep finding different ways to lay your beads. Just practice your liquid to powder ratio. I'm telling you, When people say they have problems with a lot of different things, a lot of times it's the way that you're laying your beads. It's how wet or how dry you're doing them. If you lay your cuticle beads too dry, I'm telling you, they're going to dry quickly, and it's going to be bumped up, and it's going to be lumpy in that area. And the apex area, for me personally, I like an apex area that's at the more back of the nail, like a smooth transition from the cuticle, and then boom, apex right there. Some people like it a little bit more forward. I'm just telling you right now, if I were to lay this dry and then try and push that up into the cuticle area, instead of having a smooth, like it does its own thing, you see how it's doing its own thing, all I have to do is slightly push it. What would happen is, damn, I had like a hiccup stuck. It would basically kind of start to freeze in place. You're going to have a hard time moving it, and then you're not going to be able to tuck the cuticle area in. Like, it just won't work how you think. You know what I'm saying? So this is the last finger that I actually show. I don't actually show the thumb. Like I said, well, I did this voiceover a couple of times. In a previous voiceover, I don't know if I said it in this one too. This is old footage that I had when I did the 90s nails, the black and white ones. And I kind of found the application, and in that video I didn't include the application, just the nail art. So hopefully this really helps anybody who is struggling with application, especially in the cuticle area, because I know a lot of people do struggle with that. I used to, more so with it being too large of an apex. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Turn on all your notifications so that way you guys don't miss anything. You guys, we are so close to 500 subscribers. It's crazy. I am going to be uploading my like nail tech journey up until this point, including pictures of my work. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Nailsbyprettyface. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Of course, I got videos coming for you daily. Once again, here is the look of the nail, and here is the final result of the nail. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.